would like to share a few more items with you that I have in my kit that are necessary when I work on a project or I am booked for a gig. There's glitter. I love glitter. I have all the glitter. I have all colors, sizes, textures. You name it, I probably got it. This is just a small selection, okay? I have all my glitter stored in boxes, and then right before the gig, I pack what I need so I don't overload my kit all the time. So don't put all the colors all the time in your kit. It just takes too much space. It doesn't make any sense, okay? I want to show you, you've seen that before. I want to talk a little bit more about this because you only have seen it in a Ziploc bag. These are the no-toe latex foam thongs that Josh Council makes. They're amazing. As you see, they don't have sides. It's just the front and the back. You glue them on with Prose Aid. And once you apply paint on top of it, they really disappear. They are not visible at all. They are amazing. And if your model needs to go to the bathroom, she just pulls it down and to the side. And she can do what she needs to do because we're all human and we need to do what we need to do when we need to do it. They are amazing. They are great for competitions, when you're competing, or if you are working on a very important event, you want to get good pictures and you want your model to look flawless. That's what you need. For regular events, these are the thongs that I use. I showed them to you before, but they were in a Ziploc bag. I didn't take them out of the Ziploc. They are from Target. They are amazing. I'll provide the link. So whatever you're going to use, make sure it is synthetic. Do not buy cotton. Cotton is going to absorb all the paint, and it's almost impossible for you to get a good coverage on it. It's very frustrating if you have to work with cotton underwear, so don't try to avoid that. Also, you see how this is a nude color and not a white. Stay away from white because our skin is actually not white. If you work with a white underwear and you paint everything, it will be a little bit brighter even after the paint is on and more visible. This will really blend in better once you apply the paint. I like them also because the sides are wider. If you buy some thongs that have a small band, they have a tendency to push into the skin, so you have a small indentation on the side. It doesn't look really good. I also suggest once you're done painting, glue the top parts, front, back, and the sides down with Prose Aid so they don't move around and then there's skin visible. Not a good thing either, okay? Then let's talk about these. What I do with my cake paints, I mark them. I put a sticker on the back of each cake. I use a round neon colored sticker. The reason why I do this, because a lot of times we work with other fellow artists, or you take a workshop and there are other artists, and then one artist is running out of a shade asking you, hey, can I use this, da 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 da, and all the paint starts to mix and mingle, and then later on you don't know, is this mine, is this hers, his, and then it can get a little bit uncomfortable. So to avoid any confusion, mark your products so you know exactly what's yours. I do the same with my brushes. On the bottom of the brush handle, I mark it with nail polish. I just put some blue marking tape around each brush handle, and then I paint it with a nail polish color that I like, so I know exactly what is my brush. In terms of brushes, I will share a couple brands with you that I really like, but keep in mind, brushes I feel are very individual, they are very personal. You got to find what works best for you. What works for me might not work well for you. Once you find the brushes that you like, you can order them online, but first I would suggest like looking for the right brush in person so you can touch them, you can see the quality of a brush, you can see is it a firm brush, is it a soft brush, is it a good quality, and sometimes a cheap brush might be a good quality. The price is not really an indication if it's a good brush for you. Of course, a good brush probably will cost more, but I have some brushes there, they were inexpensive and they are great. So you just got to find out. I suggest having a few flat ones, different sizes in your kit, a few round filbert, different sizes. This one is actually a makeup foundation brush I really like. This one is one as well. I find myself working a lot with a medium-sized filbert, so I love these. Get a few flat angled ones. I have one fan brush somewhere, but I don't use it very often, but you can get one or two of those as well. Then you need some round ones, different sizes, right? Tiny for detail, and then some bigger sizes. If you find a brush that you really like, I suggest buying multiple ones right away. Don't wait before they're sold out or discontinued. You know, then you cry. I also have a toothbrush in my kit if I need to sprinkle paint. For example, if I paint a galaxy, this is a great tool to have. I have a jewel picker. It's like similar, like I showed you the tacky that I put on the back of my brush handle. This one is for smaller jewels, smaller rhinestones. You just pick it up and put it on, pick it up and put it on. I think I use it more for the face because it's for smaller gems. Then I suggest taking care of your clients because they take care of us, right? So I like to leave a cleaning kit with my clients. What I have in there is a Neutrogena makeup remover sheet. I have a compressed towel. I think they are fun to use. You just put them in water and they expand. One time used, then they go to trash. Just for the face, it's the small size, comes in different sizes. I have a bottle of shower gel, or most of the time I use Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. Then I have a sponge, a loofah for the body, washing instructions. Okay, so if you work with Pro Air or Hybrid, that is a very persistent paint on the skin to get off. And we actually figured out the best way. So the best way is with Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, and tell your clients or put it on the washing instructions how to do it. And the right way to do it, don't go in the shower and try to wash it off immediately. What you do, you take the Castile soap and you rub it onto the dry skin, onto the paint till it gets muddy. And then you let the water running and you can start rinsing it off. It has to be loosened up first from the skin with the Castile soap. That's how it really works the best. Then there's some bigger compressed towels that I sometimes use. The dollar stores usually carry them all the time. I think they are fun and cute. You can use this instead of this, or however you want to pack your care package for your client. Then I have colored contact lenses, right? Different colors, blue, green, red, whatever I need. I keep them in those small glasses with a metal cap that screws on. It's the perfect size. And I will share a link with you where I order my contact lenses. I get them from England. I used to store my contact lenses in these regular contact lens containers, storage containers, but they never really worked for me. No matter how tight I screwed the lid on, the contact lens solution either evaporated or disappeared, or I don't know where it went, but it went away. Made my contact lens crinkle up like a dried prune, and it could go to trash, and I was mad because it was expensive, right? So after I found these cool little tiny glasses, I'm like, wow, cool. Never ever happened again. I don't need to worry about refilling contact lens solution. It's just perfect. Yeah, found it, like it, happy. Then this is a case where I store my airbrush guns in. It is actually a storage case for handheld guns. Looks like this. I like to protect my investment because airbrush guns are expensive and I don't want to drop them and they break. So this is nice. It has a padding inside. I use the Pache airbrush guns. I use 2 different kind of models, and I will tell you in the comments what I use. So this is how I store my airbrush guns. Then I have plastic in my kit. Make sure it's a durable, thicker kind of plastic. I use this to cover and protect the table of the client before I put a paper towel on. Sometimes I bring my own tables, but sometimes there's no room for my table to be put up, so I have to use the client's table, and then you have to protect it, right? Because some of our paints, they can stain easily, especially teals are awful. I stained a table before with teal, even if I protected it, but the paint found a way through into the wood and it ruined it, and I had to take care of it, so that wasn't good. Make sure it doesn't happen to you. So I have the plastic for the table. Then I have, I have blue tarp in my kit that I put onto the floor to protect the floor, because there's glitter fallout, there's pigment fallout. I have a tendency to be clumsy, so there will be paint drippings for sure. You want to make sure the client's floor is protected as well. I always, if I go somewhere for a job, I want to leave the place better than I found it. Okay, that's kind of like the mindset that I have. Then let's go a little bit over some of the stencils that I have in my kit. I would say stencils are like what I said with the brushes. It's very individual, it's personal. Depending on what jobs you work or what designs you use, you might use different stencils than I have in my kit. But maybe just for a suggestion, or if you're just starting out, a few stencils that I think are good to have in the kit. This is a circle stencil that I use a lot. You have them both ways, right? Outside and inside. I like that, different sizes. Then this one is called Bird. It's from Iwata Medea, I think. It has a bunch of different curves and round shapes, so it's very helpful. I suggest maybe have a few reptile stencils in your kit. Some small ones, maybe a couple bigger ones, so you can cover space faster. I find myself using reptile stencils a lot. It's good. Or some creature stencils. This one is a really nice stencil as well. I think it's from Iwata. It gives a really nice coverage. It's a nice design. You can do different things with it. I use this a lot and it looks good all the time. Then maybe a few flower stencils. Flowers are good, or swirls. I like stars. So I made a star stencil. I use them quite a bit. There's a couple more flower stencils. So whatever you think would work for you. Then you've seen how I have all the little bottles that have labels. I have put the labels on. This one doesn't have one, but I know what it is. So a lot of the products come in big bottles and they take too much space in my kit. So I refill them in smaller bottles and I label them. Most of the time I label them. And so I can fit more in my kit. So it's just a fit more thing why I do this. Then you also have seen how I put things and items in little Ziploc bags. 2 reasons. A, I like how I can see through the Ziploc bag, so I know exactly what is in the bag. And then it protects everything from getting dirty, because once I work, there's pigment fallout, again, paint, this, that. I want to keep everything as nice and tidy as I possibly can. Then I have fingernails. So fingernails are the same like with the glitter. I have a box in my home where I store them, and then depending on the gig, I look what I need, and then I grab a couple ones that would work well, and then I take them. There's 2 brands that I really like. One is Kiss Gel Fantasy, and the other one is Goldfinger Gel Glam. Surprise, surprise, 3 shiny ones, 1 matte one, 2 glitter, 1 really cool chrome type of nail. I feel like, like nails and lashes and heels and a headdress, all of that is really important to me to bring the whole look together. So I like glitter fingernails. It's cool, you know, another thing to complete your look. Then I have an eye water compressor. This is the Smart Jet Pro. It's really awesome. I have it for I think 8 years. It broke once. It broke last year on Halloween, worst day it could possibly happen, right? But I gotta say, eye water is pretty amazing. So I called them, and you can send in your compressor, and for $50, 50, they repair it and ship it back to you. And that's pretty amazing. No matter what's broken, it's a flat fee. Just the shipping to get it there was a little bit pricey because it's a heavy item. I think I paid about $50 to get it there, plus the $50 for the repair. So it was about $100, but still a lot cheaper than a new compressor, and it's running beautifully since then. I have an attachment that I put onto my compressor to hold multiple airbrush guns. It holds 6, 2 on the bottom, 4 on the top. I got that on Amazon. And then extension cord, right? We will need that. And a multi-outlet plug thingy because you have your compressor, and then you have to charge your phone, right? And then you have one for your friend, whatever your friend needs to charge, because you love your friends. And then a hose for the compressor, a braided hose. I bought a moisture trap to put onto it. The compressor has a moisture trap built in, but the climate in Texas is pretty humid. So I found there was still moisture trapped in the hose, and the attachment of the moisture trap actually did help, so no moisture comes out through the airbrush gun. So these are all the items that I felt were important to talk about and that I have, and now you know what's in my kit. There's one more piece of information I would like to share with you about my airbrush guns. I think it's important. So in order to work faster, I have more airbrush guns, right? So if you have the luxury to have one airbrush gun for one color, then that's what you do. If you don't have that, then I suggest pairing up colors and shades with one gun that will work together a little bit better. So you just run the cleanser through in between if you change the colors on one gun. So for example, you could use blacks and browns on one. White you leave just by itself. Then another one could be yellows, oranges, and reds. And another one could be for greens and blues, right? And again, if you have the luxury to have a gun for each color, then you do that. But in order to switch guns faster on my hose, I have a quick connect. So what you will need one female quick connection part for your hose, and then for each gun that you have, you will need a male quick connection part, right? And it's pretty simple. All you will need to do is pull the female part down and put the gun in with the male part, and it connects super fast, and then you work. And if you exchange, you just pull it down, grab the new gun, put it in, and there it is. So it's like boop, 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 boop. It's super fast. It's faster than unscrewing one gun, screwing it back on. It's gonna take forever. It doesn't really make sense. If you work as a professional body painter, this time, you know, for us, time is money, right? We get paid by the hour or by the job. So the faster we can work, each second, each minute that we can save helps us. So that was just the one thing I still felt I wanted to share with you. And that's that.